What an intense Monaco Grand Prix qualifying session it always is. It means so much here on the streets of Monaco. And actually it was started off with a massive bang, and the bang was Sergio Perez hitting the wall at the first corner, Sandoval. I mean, it just went, the Street King actually just completely ruined it. There's not a place you want to do an incident, especially in Q1. He's going to start last on the grid, Sergio Perez. Oh, I mean, is that his championship down the drain? I mean, it must be massively disappointing for Sergio. Not the place you want to start the Brad. There's barely any overtaking. And Q1, yes, it was Perez. He's going to start 20th and last. You wouldn't have put your money on him to be last, would you? And then comes Zhou Guanyu in 19th. It looked like they're on for a decent run, did the Alfa Romeos, but wasn't to be. Hulkenberg P18, 17th for Kevin Magnussen. They struggled all weekend, them Haas, especially slowing the car down. We've seen them go off, and they did so in qualifying at the first corner, taking the run off. Probably the most out of any teams this weekend. And then there was Logan Sargent, actually a very decent and respectable P16 for Logan Sargent. He is the rookie, first time around Monaco. And yeah, it's, I think that's right, quite a good result for him. And it was Max Verstappen on pole for Q1. Yuki Tsunoda was a surprise there, and then Alex Albon in P3. Mega performances from them, but really just because the track ramped up and they came on newer tyres, Verstappen pulled it off with the one set on that one. And then into Q2, it was Valtteri Bottas who's starting P15, then Lance Stroll in P14, Albon 13th, Nick De Vries 12th, and Oscar Piastri 13th. The star in that one was actually Pierre Gasly in a P6, and Yuki Tsunoda again pulling out a decent qualifying in P9. I mean, the really bad performance from Lance Stroll though, because his teammate was, the one in the action fighting for pole position. Again, it was Verstappen leading, and it looked like he was about 2/10 faster than anybody else at that section, and it looked like it was a home run for him for pole. Leclerc second and Alonso third, but it ramped up for Q3, didn't it? What an epic end. Lando Norris, unfortunately he got a bit of contact at the end of the Q2 session, but mega job by the team to get him up and running for the Q3 session. He'll be disappointed with that because they look strong, McLaren did, especially in the hands of Norris. So P10 for him. I guess he'll can just hold on for some points and a decent start to try and move up the field with them. Yuki Tsunoda, again, he's P9, he's solid all weekend in his qualifying run. He'll be very happy with that. Beats his teammate again, and he's on for a solid run, is Yuki Tsunoda. He's really pushed himself and done magnificently so far this season. George Russell in P8, he'll be disappointed actually, because in the first two sessions he was actually quite a bit faster than Lewis Hamilton. Looked like Hamilton would struggle, but it was actually, he's been beaten by his teammate around Monaco. Not sure what happened, if he just got some sort of traffic on his last run, but it just wasn't great for him. He's been beaten by actually Pierre Gasly, and what an upturn in performance by the Alpine team. At one point in Q3 we had Ocon on pole. Yes, Ocon was on pole. He actually pulled off a mega lap on his first run, and just shown the pace that this Alpine has. They've been given a kick up the boot by their CEO, haven't they, Rossi, and well, they've delivered here this weekend for him. Lewis Hamilton in P6. I mean, Mercedes would actually be a bit disappointed here, won't they? They've been beaten by an Alpine, behind the two Ferraris, Aston Martin and obviously Red Bull, despite the big upgrades. But as we said, it's too early to read too much in this upgrade. Monaco isn't really the place to do that. Look at that, how the track ramped up between even like sessions. The start of the session being quite slow, and then you were looking at about a second you were gaining by the end of the session as the rubber laid down. So probably can't read too much for that, but Hamilton probably will be happy in the end. Probably would hope to have been higher up, but yeah, P6 for him. Carlos Sainz, a decent qualifying session, P5. Again, they looked like they were just a couple of tenths off the Red Bulls, but he'll be disappointed to be P5. I think he was really looking for a top 3 start, especially with Perez so far back. But Ocon, I mean, he's got to be the star of qualifying, hasn't he? P4, brilliant result from him. Pulled out a lap one. What a place to do it as well, where you can't overtake. I'm sure he'll have a massive queue behind him at the start of the race, and he is feisty, isn't he? I'm sure he'll do a brilliant job keeping everyone behind him. Charles Leclerc, P3, the homeboy, just didn't have enough pace. They struggled, Ferrari, really, to get close enough to a battle for pole. and it was to be with Fernando Alonso, who actually looked like he'd have pole, pulled out an absolutely mega lap, and we'd seen Verstappen, who was actually quite a poor first run, but it had all to do in his second run, and he was actually 2 tenths down in the middle sector was Verstappen on his last run. But oh my, what an absolutely mega last sector. He made up over like nearly 3 tenths on Alonso in that one sector alone. It's where they've been strongest really, and boy did he need it. He's saying he's clipping the barriers as he was rolling round was Verstappen. So yeah, Verstappen on pole in the end. It was harder than we thought it would be. Alonso just missing out on his first pole position. It's one he's got for a race, but he's on the front row tomorrow. Them Aston Martins do make good starts, and so does Alonso. Actually, he's really feisty into that first corner, so it's all to play for there. Let's see how that run turns to that first corner for tomorrow. Charles Leclerc actually saying that there's rumours for some or potential for some mixed conditions and rain tomorrow. I mean, if we have that, it will be absolutely mega. Let's hope, some fingers crossed for some rain and mixed conditions, and we never know who could win from there. But yeah, what a brilliant qualifying session. It had everything, didn't it? And Monaco, we've seen sort of in the past being like just a procession, but we've had everything. So many drivers clipping the walls, even Verstappen saying he hit the wall a couple of times on that last lap as well. Hamilton hit it, Leclerc, Sainz had a crash there. I mean, so many drivers, Norris, you can name a few, Perez, there's so many big drivers actually hitting, and I think they're really struggling with these larger tyres to see over the edge and see where the barriers are. There's no sort of room for error here, and actually you can't leave a few centimetres from the edge here because you'll just be slow around Monaco. You really need to maximise it. But there we go. It'll be a brilliant start for the race tomorrow at Monaco. I really can't wait. And actually, I think we might get more incidents than we've sort of seen, because we've had a few already this weekend, and it'll be a big race tomorrow. Yeah, watch out for the review of the race tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe and comment as always. I'll see you in the next video.